Spider-Man PS4 is upon us. September 7th is almost here, but how can you prepare for the release of this big PS4 exclusive? I got some things you can do while you wait and just some overall info that is nice to know before you start. So let's get into it. If you enjoyed that, then a like would be super appreciated, and let's go. Let's start with one pretty interesting thing that you might already know about, namely the book called Hostile Takeover that tells the story of Insomniac Spider-Man before the game starts. So you can see what Peter had to deal with before you begin with the game. Because if you didn't know, Spider-Man is already 23 in this game, so he's already really experienced. This book will not go that far back, but it gives you a lot of context as to what is going on and immediately goes into the intro of the game without spoiling the game at all, so you don't have to worry about that. The book will explore, for example, things like the relationship between MJ and Peter, what is going on with Wilson Fisk, because as we already know, the tutorial mission will be you infiltrating the Fisk Tower. It just gives some nice context to everything that is going on that will likely make the story of the game even better. There's a paperback version, but you can of course also get it digitally to immediately start reading. It's only like 12 bucks or something, and even cheaper if you buy it digitally, so not a lot. So yes, during the Kingpin tutorial boss battle you will already have some nice moves, but throughout the whole game you will be able to learn more skills that will enhance your ability to kick some ass, but also gives you access to some awesome stunts that you can do while swinging through the city. Skill points are needed to unlock skills, but if you for example already pre-ordered the game, then you immediately have 5 skill points at the start of the game, and otherwise by leveling up you also get a skill point per level. So because you already get a lot of skill points in the early parts of the game, it's good to get an understanding of the skills before you start the game, so you immediately know what you want to focus on when you are playing. There are for example 3 skill trees: Innovator, Defender and Webslinger, that all focus on different capabilities of Spider-Man. If you are more of a stealth player, then it's handy to unlock a skill that increases the range at which you can take down enemies, or there's also a skill that lets you throw rockets from enemies back to them, but you will need some other skills in order to reach that one, so understanding how the skill line works will already help you a lot. And again, if you want to do some stunts while swinging through the city, that by the way also gives you a small amount of XP, then focusing on the Webslinger skill line is super handy. During a preview session where we got to play an early part of the game, we wrote down some skills, and also Fandom Wikia got all of them except for one, so I totally recommend that you check out their post or a video I did with some footage of some of the skills as well. You can watch that one by clicking on the screen, but I also put a link to everything I will be noting here in this video in the description down below as well. You can also find a big video on all the gadgets in the game that you will also have to unlock with tokens that I want to touch on in a second. While there's no footage of all the gadgets at this moment, knowing the description and seeing some of them in action will totally give you a good understanding of how they work, so you know if you want to unlock them while you are playing the game. You'll need tokens to unlock most of the gadgets in the game that you get for completing the different activities in the open world. I already mentioned this in previous videos, but I thought it was handy to know before you start the game, so you know what you're getting into. For example, we got the bases where you need to defeat waves of enemies, and totally check out the challenges as well, so you get more base points that you can use to unlock new suits and gadgets. Don't worry though, you can replay these bases, so you can always come back to do the challenges that you might have missed. We also got crimes that happen randomly in the world and you can engage in. These activities also have challenges that are handy to track, so you get more crime tokens for your time. You will not be fighting all the time, there are also backpacks all over the map that contain memories of events that happened before the game started, so getting them will get you a backpack token. You can also take photos of landmarks in the game. You get landmark tokens for that. Think of the Empire State Building, for example. Harry Osborn is out of town in Europe in Spider-Man PS4, but you can still help him with his labs that are all over the whole city. During an Insomniac livestream we saw some puzzles that you need to do in order to get the research tokens. We know that there are challenges from Taskmaster as well that will test you, so there are a lot of different things to do in the open world, and engaging in these activities will help you to unlock a lot of things. So you can blast through the whole story if you want, but if you want to look differently while doing so, then these open world activities are totally needed for sure. A small but also crucial thing is the space on your PlayStation 4. Do you have enough? The game is almost 50 gigs, and we already know that there's a day one patch coming that includes the photo mode. So it's totally handy to save some free space for that as well, and to have an internet connection on September 7th to download this big day one update. That should also include some other stuff that we will know about closer to launch. Oh, and a thing I can't stress enough in my videos is don't go to Reddit or likely Twitter as well until you've finished the game. Like, Reddit is insane right now. I never saw people break the embargo left and right with leaked gameplay, screenshots and way more. So totally don't go there till you finish the story. And I say Twitter and yeah, maybe even Instagram as well, because of the collector's edition statue that will be sent out on launch day, of course. This namely contains a major spoiler for the game that you don't want to ruin for yourself. Like, I got the collector's edition coming and will not post the statue anywhere till months after release. So yeah, for people that don't have the collector's edition, like, be warned, there is a statue with a major spoiler that could be showing up on your social media feeds. But also, if you bought the collector's edition, don't open the statue till you finish the game. So yeah, those are some things that you don't want to do, like before release or around the launch of the game. But again, like, overall, to prepare, you can check out the Hostile Takeover book to know the story before the game. Like, watching the movies is of course also something you can do to get in the mood, although this story is like an original story, so it's not based on a story from the movie, but there are of course some movie suits in the game. I, for example, watched the Homecoming movie like recently again, really love that one. Be familiar with the skills and gadgets so you know what you want to unlock right away when you start the game and are not like overwhelmed. I gave you an overview of the open world activities that are handy to chase and understand before you play, and have at least 50 gigs of free space on your PS4. Oh, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for everything Spider-Man PS4. I got a review copy from Sony and am preparing a lot of content for you that will post starting September 4th. No story spoilers whatsoever, but my impressions and tips and tricks and the stuff you come to expect from me. Like this video to support the channel. Check out my video on an in-depth look at the photo mode and also a tease for another big mode coming to the game. And I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.